What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dorky N40RC channel. Very fun, interesting topic here. We're talking about putting air in our rear tires. Nothing original from me or nothing new here, but finally decided to try it out. What you can see here is all of our parts that we have in front of us that we're going to need. I'm using Reactions, the Showtime Plus wheel, a valve, a little pump. You're going to need like a couple drill bits, maybe some grease or some green slime to help seal off the valve, some glue everything up. We'll show you how to do all of it. And it's very satisfying when you put that in for the first time and you see your reaction blow up and just, yeah, it just stays there like a balloon. I'll show you here in the video. Now, people have been doing this for obviously a long time. It's catching on even faster now with the hype around like the bullet chassis and all the stuff that Mark Vine's doing. I think Tim Smith said on the last podcast that he had been doing this for quite some time as well. And now it's filtered down here to the masses. It works great with the reaction tires, also with the new Voodoos if you have those. I'm sure you're already doing this if you have those. So what I'm going to do is put links down below to Amazon stuff for this tire pump right here, and some valves and like a valve kit. These things are kind of hard to get now because now that there's a run on them from all the crazy RC hobby people, they're hard to get. So I'll put a couple different links down there. If you want to support the channel, you can get something down there and I'll get a small commission off of it. So actually, guys, I'm going to show you the better method I have got going on. And what we're using here, as you can see, is a blood pressure cuff setup. We've got our bulb with our release valve. We've got a sphygmometer, which will read up to 300 millimeters of mercury. Another way to measure pressure. Way more accurate trying to dial in the pressure on these than using this silly hand pump. So don't get that, but I'm going to put a link in Amazon for a couple of these that you might want to use. This kit here, actually, you can go to Walmart and buy for 15 bucks if you want to. It's the one that has the stethoscope in it, and you basically just kind of put it all together, put your needle valve there on the end, and then you will be able to inflate the tire. And you do a little bit of math. Most people are running reactions between 0.5 and about 0.8 to maybe 1 psi, and that's enough to fit in the millimeters of mercury scale on here. So you can pump the tire up exactly to that here, and then of course you can slowly let out the pressure with your bulb here and make everything just a lot easier for yourself. So way precise method. Awesome. And then I have, luckily I have access to some really good silicone grease that's in a syringe that I literally can take into the valve here and inject it just directly into that valve and fill that thing right up. Again, you can use the green slime or something, but I would definitely try to get it in a syringe. You can pick up plastic syringes anywhere these days and try to get it in there that way to help keep that valve shut. If there's one thing I've learned about this, it's that gluing a tire to keep air inside of it is a lot different than just gluing a tire. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the video. So the first thing we need to do is take our Showtime Plus wheel. So this is the wheel that's made for the wide reactions, but it actually will glue up the regular reactions just fine. And I really like the way it looks. It looks more like a scale tire, you know, when you get everything set up there, you can see. So I've got this one, put a little extra glue on it. You know, I'm not afraid to make them look a little bit nastier just to make it hold, because I'm not the best tire gluer. I'm getting better. If you are really good at gluing tires, then you shouldn't have any leaks and you should be all good. So the first thing we got to do is there's two holes on these. There's one on opposite sides. So we're going to seal one hole up, which you can see I've already done using some regular tire glue, CA, and some kicker just to kind of speed up the process a little bit. And make sure you do that on inside and the outside of the tire just to make sure that it's completely sealed on both spots. And then right here, we've got our hole, and we're gonna need to drill that out to the size of the actual valve. So these are gonna come in different lengths and sizes. It's not really a big deal. Most of them are just gonna fit anyway because we're gonna stick them in there. We're gonna cut these things off and all that kind of stuff. And you can see that, you know, this is the end that's gonna go up into the tire, and it closes off, and we're going to put like some green slime in there, and that will help basically seal that off even more. Once we get done and get everything glued in, we'll snip this off so we have less to deal with, and you'll be left with something kind of like that right there on the inside. And then you just take your little inflator here, pop it in there, pump it up. How hard you pump it up is kind of up to you. I know some of the more advanced racers are using tire durometers, which measure the hardness factor of an actual tire. So they're really not inflating to a certain pressure. They're inflating to a certain hardness. Something that you just basically have to kind of figure out. I don't really have a magic number yet. I'm guessing, and I've heard that somewhere between like 2 and 4 psi is what you want to inflate to, and that's probably gonna, you know, be good enough. I think putting any air inside here is just gonna give you a better tire and more of a difference anyway. So maybe going that far is a little too crazy for some people. This is a really inexpensive way to try something, because this equipment maybe runs like 30-40 bucks, and you can just do it over and over every time you get some tires, so it's not that bad of a deal. So I got a bit chucked up here in the drill that's basically just a little bit smaller than the size of the actual valve itself, and we're just going to drill right into the tire. Then we're going to take our X-Acto blade and just kind of clean that up and get all of this fuzziness and extra material off the inside and outside edges. So that way we have a better surface to glue to. Don't really need to make it, you don't want to like sand it or file it, I don't think, and make it like perfectly smooth, because I think it's better to have a little bit of jaggedness type of material to glue onto, so that way the CA can go with capillary action and kind of wick into some certain areas. That's done, all ready to go. Now what we're going to do is we are going to grab our valve, and you want to make sure that you put this in right. So this is the end here that is going to go up and stick into the tire. So you're going to inflate it from the outside. You want to make sure that that's the way yours looks right there, or you're going to have problems. Regular Bob Smith tire glue seems to work really good for this. I'm going to have to take the shades off here for you. You could start by just putting a little bit on the inside, and then maybe a bead around here, which actually is probably what I'll just go ahead and do. Actually, real quick, the first thing you want to do is, for some reason, these valves have like a slimy coating on them, probably so they go into like basketballs and stuff like that a lot easier. So you want to wipe those down with like alcohol or whatever your cleaner choice is, and then maybe just kind of go over the outside and the inside of the wheel as well. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and I'm going to put a bead of glue all the way around the bottom there, and not drip it all over my wheel and make a mess. And then I'm going to just place it right in there, and work it up and down a little bit. And then I'm just going to put some more glue in here and just kind of let it wick around and down, so that way everything is completely covered. And then you kind of work it up and down to kind of seed the valve a little bit. You'll eventually just feel it just stick and start getting hard. If you wanted to, you could spray some kicker on it to accelerate the process, but you know, there's no sense in being in a hurry. This is already starting to grab here just after 15-20 seconds. Just keep a little bit of pressure on it. Put a little bit on the outside there as well, or the inside of the wheel. I mean, it really doesn't matter. More is probably better to err on the side of caution in this situation, so that way you don't get stuck with a blowout. Now, obviously, you're going to want to leave this sit for a good while so that everything cures up really nice and strong for you. While we're waiting for that to happen, check this out. Watch this tire. It actually looks better when you just kind of, I don't know. This pump pumps it up to 8 PSI. And I just kind of let it sit there and let it bleed off for a little bit. But check that out, man. Looks like a real tire. That's pretty neat right there, isn't it? Now, I am definitely not the best tire gluer, but I think that even seasoned pros will have troubles with this, as I said. So I basically ruined one. You see, I got 3 sets here. And really, I think all these will work, but 3 of them are really good as far as the air that they hold. These here kind of have like a small ridge where they expanded out and kind of pulled away during the, you know, gluing pumping process. So we'll test them out. We'll see how they work. Hopefully they end up working and we can balance them and all that kind of stuff. If not, I do have one more set coming, so I can at least got 2 attempts to get a set of filled tires for each vehicle. So when you're gluing these together, my advice is to do this. Use whatever primary glue you like to use, whether it is a thick CA or a tire glue, and really pull this thing away. Make sure everything is seated and is fit really good. You might even want to use tire bands if you're good with that. You know, the whole thing is to try to keep this edge and that bead down there because these are just a little bit, they fit really well, but you'll see what I mean when you get into it. There's just a little bit of a tolerance that you kind of have to deal with that can kind of ruin your day. So take your time, glue your tires up just like you normally would. Then wait, let them cure for sure. Then you're going to take either your bulb or air pump or whatever, and you are going to blow these things up as big as you can get them. So the 7.5 to 8 PSI, whatever. Then you're going to want to take like some of this really super thin or maybe even like water or something. And you're going to want to put that all the way around, and you're going to want to look for bubbles and, you know, kind of squeeze it and see if you have any bubbles. It's kind of the reason that it's good to use the Instacure, because just getting another layer on there will be fine. And if you let it sit, it will seal up all of those bubbles. You can even come back and hit it again if you want to. You know, you're going to get some discoloration from using all the different glue and stuff, but really it's the only foolproof way I could do it. And, you know, this is $50 a shot, so you don't want to really waste a lot of opportunities on this, that's for sure. So once that's done and you've put another layer of the thin glue on there, let them cure again for a couple hours, whatever, pump them up again, and then put the water, some soapy water or something like that around there. Put some around your valve down here, see if there's any bubbling going on. So that way, if you have to make a spot repair with some more glue, then you will be good. Don't use kicker. If you use kicker with the CA, it's just too hot. It will just burn through. You know, you can use that at the beginning on the plastic when you're trying to plug your hole on the other side of the wheel, but don't use it on any of the rubber. It's just not the way to go. So when you get done and you get to that point, of course, you can get some of your trimmers here. You can go in here, trim your valve, get it as flush down as you want. and then pump that hole up with, you know, the green slime or some kind of, like, I'll put a link down, the stuff called Super Lube, O-ring grease, that works just fine as well. And you're going to want to do that almost every time that you insert that needle to help close that valve off, because we're going to be dealing with such minute amounts of pressure that you want to do everything you can to keep the pressure on the inside. That's the one great thing about having a kit like this, is that you're going to be able to constantly measure that finite amount of pressure on it as well. The only thing is you're going to have to take your wheels on and off, put them back on. You know, this is definitely going to be some extra work and everything. We'll see how it goes if I can get in to some kind of process or flow. But, you know, people are doing this and they're shaving off tenths of seconds, you know, sometimes 0.2 of a second. So we're talking about going 2 2s or 2 teens now, just off of air. So that is a huge deal. I haven't ran them yet. It's been raining all week. Today's Thursday. I'm going to put this video up on Friday. I do plan on running tomorrow night. I've got these ready to go. Like I said, one set, and hopefully my other set will be here tomorrow and I can get those ready to go. But I'm going to, you know, take these tires right here and I'm going to, you know, treat them, sand them down a little bit, all that kind of stuff. Just get them a little bit broke in and ready to go. Yeah, there's plenty of videos on that on YouTube. A no prep drag tire is no different than anything else that you would see. I would check out Ryan Harris's videos on how he does his buggy tires. That's pretty much how I do mine, with the flexible putty knife with 80 grit sandpaper attached to it, or 120, and just kind of sand it down just a little bit. I don't go as deep as much as I used to, just because I don't think it was really, there was a benefit to it. And then apply some sauce, bake it in, check it out, maybe reapply, bake it in again, get them nice and good and soft and just opened up and ready to go. Might even try Beetlejuice this time. I just got some of that, so maybe we'll try putting that on from the beginning. But I feel like definitely, I think the first time you break in some tires, I think you do need a break-in compound or some kind of sticky prep like Reaction Time or something like that, just to kind of set the base of the tire. I think that in my experience so far, that's worked a lot better than just cleaning them and sanding them and just using heat or whatever. You want to definitely apply some kind of compound to these to really get them going. So that's it, guys. That's how you do it. It's not hard. It's not easy. You really need to be patient and take your time. And again, don't be afraid to make a mess. But you can see I got better with my process as I went through it by taking my time. I think switching to the thicker CA glue from the tire glue helped out a lot, getting that initial bead set, and then doing one treatment of the thin CA, and then coming back and using a little bit of water with Dawn dish soap, pump it all the way up and see if there's any bubbles. So that way, if you see some bubbles, you can come in and you can either use a dab of thick CA, or if you've got bubbles all over the place, you can run the thin CA all over too. Just make sure your one side is dry before the other, or you're going to get it all over, like I have on a few of these tires, trying to be impatient and just get things done, because I'm not very patient when I want to play with my new toys, even when it's raining. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Hit me up with any questions. Again, links for everything down below. Peace.